I want to continue from where we left off last week by talking about reconciliation. This week I want to talk about the tools of reconciliation that are necessary for the church to lead in this call for justice. The Black Lives Matter movement and many other such movements around the world are prompting the church to accept and to admit some of its own culpability in this question of injustice and oppression. And so today I want to focus another internal conversation dealing with the church. This week I saw the comments and remarks of an evangelical pastor who essentially argued or was quoted to have said that slavery could be understood as a blessing. He later said that his comments were misinterpreted or misunderstood, but I'm going to use it as a foil in understanding why reparation is important. The first thing and the first tool I want to talk about is that white pastors and churches in general must be open to the idea of opening their churches for these difficult dialogues. These difficult dialogues and conversations are necessary if we're going to talk about reconciliation. Reconciliation isn't just a byproduct of wanting justice. It is the end result, the end point of justice. You see, if you are going to have these difficult dialogues, you must be willing to open yourselves to be taught and to learn. You must be teachable. Even as a pastor, you must be teachable because remember, persons are relying and depending on you to point them in a particular direction. And if the shepherd has a misguided notion of history or is insensitive to the people that he shepherds, then we're going to have problems. So the first tool is to open these congregations to difficult dialogues about racism, racial injustice and oppression, and the role of the church. The second tool of reconciliation is what I argue is that you must speak out against injustice. Speak out against social and racial injustice. Speak out against oppression. But it's not just that you're going to speak out. The third tool of reconciliation is that you must speak up for those that have been aggrieved. Speak up for justice. Speak up for peace. Speak up for truth. Speak up for righteousness. God has called us to be heralders of truth and harbingers of righteousness. The fourth tool of reconciliation is that you must ensure that you don't guise racism under religion or under Christianity specifically. The modern history of Christianity has gouged so much racism within its creed and within its ethos. It is time we disaggregate this reality that Jesus never preached a doctrine of race. Jesus never preached a doctrine of division or of sectarianism. And so where did we get these notions, these creeds? They are man-made creeds that have been established and enshrined in many of our churches. We have to therefore do away with guising racism under the aegis of religion. And fifth and final tool of reconciliation is what I argue, and that is you must ensure that you articulate a model of justice like Jesus did. What am I saying? Preach a doctrine of social justice. And I know I'm going to get in trouble, but I must say, being about your Father's business is not antithetical to preaching a doctrine of social justice. Jesus was about his Father's business every single day. And guess what? He declared that in Isaiah 61 that he came to loose those that were oppressed. And he came to preach the acceptable year of the Lord. And Isaiah 61:8 says, I, God, love justice. So if you're about your Father's business as a minister of the gospel, as a Christian, you must be about loving justice because God loves justice. And so I want us to understand that reconciliation is not a nice thing to do. It's not even a good thing to do. It is the right thing to do because Jesus gave us the ministry of reconciliation. And just as we have been reconciled to God through Jesus, we must be reconciled by and with and through our brothers. In so doing, we fulfill the law of Christ, which is what? To love your neighbor as yourself. You cannot see your brother in need and not help him and declare that you are a Christian. Reconciliation means admitting and accepting that something went askew and something needs to be done to correct that. The church must lead, but the church must first do what Jeremiah declared. Physician, heal thyself. God bless you until next time. One love.